Ada for siding with my dad in my parents' divorce, even though he cheated? Posted by you/livid_society_1828. Hi, I listen to a lot of people read Reddit stories, but I never use the platform myself. I am in a situation where I feel I have no one else to turn to, so I made this account and I am asking strangers on the internet. Sorry for the grammar mistakes. I edited this down a lot as a lot of it was venting, and most of it was about my rants about growing up and extended family stuff. Sorry if it isn't coherent. It is also still long. I, 15M, am the oldest of 3. My brother is the middle, 11M, and my sister is the youngest, 8F. My family had always been kind of messy, and I knew that from the beginning, but growing up I always felt outcast from my mother and her side of the family, which is mostly just her sister since my mom is not close with her parents. I noticed this mostly as my brother and sister got older. It was like night and day. For example, at school if I made some crappy painting my mom wouldn't even look at it. But I notice now with my brother, but more so my sister, anything she makes is like it was touched by the hand of God itself, and it gets displayed everywhere. My aunt, my mom's sister, would never ask how my day was or anything. She hardly talked to me. If I wanted to tell her something, she didn't care, but with my brother and sister she is the warmest person. So nice. So kind. So much fun. But never that with me. My mom would sometimes not set a plate for me at the table, and I had to get my own. In a family Christmas card one year, she used a picture without me in it. I used to hear my mom and dad fight about this a lot, especially when I was younger. My dad would always just ask her to try, and I think it has finally clicked for me now that I am partly the reason for this divorce, apart from the cheating. My dad and his family were the opposite of this. They loved me. I have a great relationship with my father. He is the best father ever. Sorry this is all over the place. This part was really long. I tried to cut it down. A few days before my parents told us about the divorce, I got in a huge fight with my mom, and kind of my dad, but he was just kind of there, over unrelated things, but during that I asked her why she didn't love me. I think in a moment of anger she admitted she didn't want me and I was a failed termination. I don't quite know what went wrong, but in my state terminations aren't legal, so I guess it was her being young and not having a lot of proper access or something. At that moment my dad basically exploded on her and sent me to bed. I think I shut down after this. I just remember being pathetic and crying in my bed that night. I knew I was a teen pregnancy, but I thought my mom and dad pushed through that, and even though I was a teen pregnancy, I thought they still loved me and worked hard to pass high school and take care of me. When my parents sat us down and informed me and my siblings that they were getting divorced, I felt numb to it. My siblings were so distraught, but I felt numb. I still feel numb. My aunt was there and was telling me and my siblings to get ready to leave, and that we were going to go stay with my mom for a while. In that moment, I got really upset because I did not want to go live with a woman who wanted to have me terminated, and then proceeded to treat me like crap throughout my life, and clearly did not love me. I didn't mention that initially. So I told my aunt, mom, and dad that I didn't want to leave the house I grew up in, to go stay at my aunt's house with my mom. My mother just looked sad, but I walked out of the kitchen and to my bedroom to go be alone. My aunt followed me and wanted to talk to me. She seemed very upset with me. She said that my siblings look up to me. That's very true. I'm basically a third parent, and I need to be there for my mother in this hard time. I told her something like, I don't want to be there for that BTCH, and my aunt got really mad and told me I didn't understand, and that my dad cheated and I should support my mom. That's how I learned he cheated. In that moment, I honestly didn't care he cheated. Looking back, I think it was crap that my dad cheated on my mom. I got really mad and brought up the termination, and asked her why I would support someone who doesn't love me and didn't want me. I brought up all the things throughout my life that felt big to me. My aunt basically told me that it was a complicated situation when it came to me, and that I couldn't resent my mother for it. At this point, my parents came up because we were yelling, and I was then left alone in my room when they got her to leave. It's been a few weeks since then, and I'm staying with my dad. My mother wants to talk to me, and I do not. I feel especially pathetic in regards to my siblings. I feel I've failed them. They really look up to me, and I'm not with them to help them through this hard time. I've basically abandoned them. I feel pathetic crying about all this when I should be trying to be proactive, calling my siblings, texting them constantly, but instead I sit there and cry. My sister also overheard my fight with my aunt, and her being 8 didn't understand half of the things we fought about, but she looked it up and now she thinks my mother tried to kill me. She won't take any explanation my mom and aunt offer her. My sister is also distraught and thinks our mother hates me and is trying to separate us. My brother and I haven't really talked, but I think he's taking it the best out of all of us. According to my dad, my mom and aunt want to explain to my sister that she did not try to kill me, and that my mom does not hate me. My dad does not want me to hate my mom, he wants me to talk to her because he wants me to have a relationship with her. In regards to how I feel about it, I don't know how I feel about the termination. I don't see it as her trying to kill me exactly. I do understand it was a teen pregnancy, and it's a complicated situation. I think I more so care that she treated me so terribly growing up. Looking back on it all, I don't think I can hate her for the attempted termination. She was a scared teenager. I think I just hate her for treating me so differently and rather badly from my siblings growing up, and I don't want to talk to her again. As for my dad cheating, he was a piece of crap for it. But when I look at him, I can't bring myself truly to care. And I know that makes me terrible, but I feel so conflicted. I love my dad, he's been nothing but supportive to me, in the best way a father can, but I don't want to talk to anyone. I've hardly spoken to any of my extended family, hardly spoken to my siblings, and I feel so lost but also right in the situation, but also like a total jerk because my dad's a scumbag for cheating, but he doesn't act like a scumbag, and I'm supporting him even though he cheated. I'm sorry for how long this was. Am I the jerk? I need someone to give me the cold hard truth. /relevant comments. Commenter. Not the jerk. You sound like you're in a very tricky situation, and I'm sure it's very complex. However, at your age, choosing what's safest for you is the best call. Try to keep in touch with your siblings at least, as it sounds like they care for you. As for your dad, him cheating makes him a bad partner, but that doesn't necessarily mean he is automatically the worst parent. From the experiences you shared, it sounds like you felt more welcome with him, so you staying with him is fine for now. And your mom, it's hard to really understand your relationship with her through a Reddit post. From what you have specified, it doesn't sound that good, especially with her side of the family. I'd say give her a chance, since it sounds like your father wants you to maintain a relationship with her as well. But if you don't feel comfortable with her, then it's best you avoid her for now. This is all very surface level, though. You could try talking to a trusted friend or a therapist to get better advice. Op's response. I know it's surface level, but in my house, we hardly ever talked about feelings. We fought with each other, then things just went back to normal. I don't think I could physically bring myself to ask my dad to put me in therapy, and then sit there and cry like a pathetic mess to a stranger about my problems. I don't think I could even talk about this with my friends. We don't really have that kind of friendship, and once in a blue moon when we talk about feelings, it's never mine. I always find it awkward to talk to friends about their feelings. I don't think I could talk about how I feel with them. So I know Reddit is surface level, but it's the only place I feel I could go where I don't have to look anyone in the eye, and the opinion is unbiased. Thank you for your reply, though. I feel better that people at least think I'm not a jerk for being with my dad. Commenter 2. Okay, number 1, you are not responsible for anything your parents did in the past, are doing now, or may or will do in the future. Do not beat yourself up about your dad cheating. Maybe she treated him as badly as she treated you. I can fully understand you being alienated from your mother, and I'm having a really hard time understanding why she wants to talk to you. She really needs to give you space to sort everything out, and you are perfectly entitled to resent the way she has treated you throughout your life. But it's not that unusual for a mother to treat her oldest differently, even though they usually don't go to the degree she did. So keep your distance from mom, cut your dad, and yourself, some slack, and start reaching out to your siblings, a little bit at a time. They need you, and you need them. After you start doing this, you'll start to feel better and be in a position mentally to move on from this awful time. Op's response. I want to reach out, but I'm scared they'll ask me hard questions. I also want to see them, and I don't. I'm their big brother, they really look up to me, and I don't want them to see me with my eyes swollen from crying and clearly upset. I feel that would only make them more upset, because when we go through something hard or they get scared, I always put on a brave face and do my best to protect them. But I don't think I can pretend I'm not scared, and unaffected, and that everything is okay this time. I feel bad texting my sister, because she keeps asking me all these hard to answer questions, and I basically ignore her on those because I don't know what to say. My brother is really just texting me, asking me about my day, and good morning and good night, and when we call, it's just about how our day was and stuff. I don't think I've actually really talked about the divorce with him at all. Commenter 3. Not the jerk. You sided with the parent who has always loved and treated you well, versus the one that has othered you your entire life, makes total sense. And you have every right to not want to see your mom right now. You were the third parent, and if she's missing anything right now, it's likely your labor. 2 kids is a lot, and it's about time she found that out. She's resented you all your life while you loved her all of yours. That's a hard thing to forgive, and it's best you don't try right now. Talk to your dad about having your siblings visit you at the house. I'm sure they miss it in you. But also talk to him about the affair. What exactly was his intention? Was this a one-time mistake on his part, or did he eventually plan on moving this woman into the house? Because him letting your siblings go makes sense, since they're underage and I assume he works. It just seems odd your mom gave up rights to the house by moving out and intended to take all of you with her. That was either to punish him or by his request. You need to know which, to plan accordingly. Op's response. She moved out because, I don't know the logistics, but it's either my family doesn't actually own the house and we just live in it and my grandparents on dad's side own it, or he owns half of the property. Either way, it's an inherited property from my great-grandparents, and as far as I know, my mom's name isn't on any documents for it. So I think that means my grandparents probably own it. A part of me believes I'm only a third parent to her, and another part wants to believe that she misses me, weirdly, because like someone else commented, maybe me laying it out to her made her open her eyes. I don't really want to know the logistics of his affair, but I'll definitely ask if the woman will be moving in, because I don't think I'll feel good about that. As for why she expected to take all of us, I think in terms of how close we are to the parents, I'm close with my dad, my brother is extremely close to my mom, and my sister is kinda caught in the middle. I think it's also just typical, or at least from what friends have said, that kids go with the mom until custody arrangements are made. Either way, a lot of people are saying to talk to my father about moving forward, and I think I will. Thank you for your advice. Update 1 day later. A small update from the original post. I hardly slept last night, and I felt terrible at school, so my dad picked me up and we went out to lunch. Then, when we got home, I finally had built up enough courage to ask him questions about what was on my mind and things brought up by people in my post. The conversation was surprisingly productive and honest. I mentioned in a comment on my original post, but in my family, we never really talked about hard things or feelings. But basically, me and my dad's conversation was like this. I asked my dad about his affair partner and basically what happened there. This was something I wanted to know but also didn't, but I still decided to ask in case she would be moving in. My dad explained that his affair went on for 5 months. He felt drained with my mother and made a terrible decision. He said the affair was discovered not from my mom going through his phone or something, but from him confessing. As the more it went on, the more scummy my dad felt. He felt like a terrible father coming home to his kids after cheating on their mother, as he put it. My dad says he is not going to be talking to the woman anymore at all, and he plans on not dating or marrying anyone new until me and my siblings are all adults. The next thing I asked about I didn't really mention in the post, but I wanted to know his part in my mom trying to end the pregnancy and stuff. He said he actually didn't know she was pregnant until about 1 to 2 weeks before I was born. He also explained the gist of what my mother told him. My dad doesn't know the nitty-gritty details, so everything I say here is all he also knows. My mom found out she was pregnant at 16 or 17 years old and told my aunt. They sort of panicked, but my aunt tried taking my mother to get a termination. My mom's parents found out and did not allow her to end the pregnancy. Even after that, my aunt again tried to help my mom get a termination, but this second attempt was found out, and after that, my mom's parents sent my aunt to live with relatives until after my mom gave birth. That's what happened. So I think that means I'm not technically a failed termination, just a prevented termination. I don't think it makes much of a difference though. On the brighter side, my grandparents are going to take me and my siblings out on the weekend to do some fun stuff to take our minds off all the chaos. I am looking forward to that, as I hope with my grandparents around I won't have to answer many questions, and of course, I get to see my siblings. I am also feeling better. Writing my feelings out, even if it was for strangers on Reddit, helped. I did not broach the topic of therapy with my father like many people suggested. But I am going to write my mom a letter and start journaling. Despite what many people said, I am going to have a conversation with my mother after I give her my letter and she reads and processes it. I don't know when that will be, but soon probably. I want to thank everyone who commented on the original post. I don't think I even read through half the comments, but almost all of them I did read had great advice. Many people told me to update them, so here it is. I don't know if I did the update correctly, as this is my first time using Reddit. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. This is a nice update. I'm glad you had a good conversation with your dad. This is another sign that you've made the right decision for you. He's clearly a safe space for you when your mom isn't. On that note, did you ask him about how her neglect of you affected their marriage? You indicated in your last post that you saw it, so I was wondering if it came up. I suspect it is at the root of what pushed your dad to the affair. It wouldn't excuse cheating, but it would be a very understandable explanation. Ops response. We did talk about that, but I didn't want to make the update too long, and it was mostly my father just apologizing a lot. He didn't mention it being the root of the affair, but I don't know what goes on inside his head. He didn't really give me a reason for the affair, but I think I'm okay not knowing one. Commenter 2. If you are talking to your grandparents on your mother's side, do let them know what impact their meddling caused. They traumatized your mom, and she treated you like crap because of that. Ops response. I don't really talk to my mom's side other than my aunt. I suppose I now know why. But I'm still not close with my mom's parents. We've only really ever done things with my dad's side of the family. Commenter 3. Well, your mom was 100% wrong for treating you like that. It had to be hard on your dad, who clearly loves you a lot, to see you being mistreated by his wife, your mother. She literally would forget to make a plate for you at Christmas? That's just cruelty for cruelty's sake. You didn't ask to be conceived or to be born. You were, and are, entirely innocent in all of this. Stay with your dad, he loves you, and don't let your mom continue to parentify you. Even though I have never cheated and absolutely don't agree with it, I can see why seeing his wife mistreat you for years, and other things I'm sure she did, no doubt eroded his love for her. He probably stayed for you kids. That said, I think that he should be encouraged to find someone new once he's healed from the divorce. He shouldn't wait until you are all adults. He deserves some happiness from romantic love eventually too. And, as a dad myself, I can tell you that you and your little brother and sister are probably his greatest source of joy in this life. I know that my kids are for me. Commenter 4. Yeah, Dad is a effing saint. Because he wasn't the one who was forced to give birth and forced to love someone she didn't want. And then possibly forced to be with a person who made her give birth because that's the right thing to do. For F's sake, now Dad's coming crying, but where the F was he earlier to not address it and drag his wife to treat clearly unresolved trauma? Op's response. My dad's not a saint, but he didn't force my mom into anything. Most of the forcing was done by mom's parents. My dad didn't force my mother to marry him. And because my dad didn't force my mother to do things, he didn't force her to treat any trauma. I empathize with my mom. Being a teen and pregnant is hard. But she also had 15 years to figure things out. I get it was hard for her, but I don't care at this point how she feels about it 15 years later at 32 when she spent my whole childhood hating me. And from my eyes, the one telling the other parent to stop screaming during arguments so the kids don't hear was my dad. My dad was the one suggesting they not argue and take time to cool down. My mom was the one who would not take the time to cool down and would follow him around to keep fighting. I don't think my dad's a total saint, but compared to my mother I think he is.